We were looking last time at how Elijah suddenly collapsed. And I said I wanted to stay here for a little while. I'd like to look at what might be the reason. It's a bit speculative, so feel free to dismiss it. But something took this man of colossal faith, real courage, commitment to God, to a complete contrast, running for his life, even praying the suicide prayer, take my life from me. I mean, it was a complete collapse. He somehow got his eyes off God. I want to suggest some possible things that led to that. The first one we'll look at today is the possibility of, in the midst of bringing God's judgment to the prophets of Baal, namely they were to be slaughtered. Baal worship was destroying the nation, destroying its culture, getting them so off track. God required they should be slaughtered. And Elijah did that. But you know, handling righteous indignation is one of the toughest things a Christian has to do. And I want to just warn us about that danger, because sometimes I've seen people who begin to care about a particular issue. And it's right, it's a big issue. But what can happen is they become what I would call a single issue Christian. And somehow you don't feel you meet Jesus in the midst of it. It's a real issue. It can start as a real issue. But it could be initially a theological issue, feeling, hey, you should believe this. Not this, you should believe that. And what began as a real passion for Scripture begins to be just a fighting for a particular doctrine. Sometimes it becomes a moral issue, not just a theological issue, a moral issue. Some of the great issues of today, race, gender. I mean, things people care passionately about. And sometimes it can even overflow and become a political issue. And you find people who used to be happy Christians beginning to be very, very one-issue Christians who don't want to talk about anything else, who don't seem to be enjoying their salvation very much, but are passionately committed to this one thing. It's quite hard to enjoy fellowship on a broader scale. So let's just see that and be wary of that danger. That can happen to people, and they're big issues. The prophets of Baal and dealing with that was a big issue, but possibly, Elijah got caught up in that. Somewhere he got his eyes off Jesus. Let me ask you right now, please beware of any issue that you find begins to matter to you more than enjoying and glorifying Jesus. And that you get stirred up inside about it. And you need to fight for it. And maybe fight other Christians about it. Be careful. Somewhere Elijah got his eyes off of God. Somewhere he couldn't make it any further and ran for his life when Jezebel attacked him. Let's be careful. Let's watch out for our heart.